Hello students, very good morning to all. So students, this is our second video lecture of this chapter, separation of substances. Previously we have seen 3 to 4 different techniques to separate the components from a mixture. Okay, well, let me tell you what are the, you can say, methods that we have seen. So first of all we have seen hand picking. Okay, secondly we have seen threshing, and then we have seen winnowing. Okay, so if you have not seen the previous video, so first of all just watch the previous video. Okay, so in today's video lecture we are going to start from this sieving. So what is this method? Okay, first of all let us discuss that. Just recall your mother pours the flour into a sieve before preparing a dish with flour. Okay, so why does she do so? By this method she removes the, you can say, chaff from the flour. Okay, now sieving is a method of separating a mixture of different sized particles by passing them through a suitable sieve. Okay, so this is the thing. So what is the definition? That sieving is a method of separating a mixture of different size particle when the size are different. Okay, if there are different size, then we can easily sieving. Okay, or applying this method. You can see here that sieving flour. You can see the picture here. Okay, so the size of the holes of the sieve depends upon the size of the particles which are to be removed. Okay, you can see here this is the sieve. The picture is not clear, so let me draw this. So basically this is the sieve. Okay, this is the sieve, and if we put some mixture where this kind of particles are there and this kind of particles are there. Okay, so the small particles will just drop here, but the bigger particle will be there in the sieve. Okay, so this process we call it as sieving. Okay, in a flour mill, impulses like husk and stones are removed from the wheat by using this sieving method. Okay, it is used when components of mixtures have different size. Okay, so very easy. We are using this technique when the components are of different size. Okay, so this is also, students, one kind of method to separate the components. Now there is an activity that takes some flour and sieve, mix chalk powder with the flour. Now try to sieve the mixture. Okay, so can you separate the flour from the chalk powder? Okay, so just do it at your home and just find out the result, that whether it is possible or not. Now next one, students, very important one, we call it as sedimentation and decantation. Okay, so what is the process of sedimentation and decantation? Now sometimes what you happen, you find it difficult to separate components of a mixture by winnowing. Okay, and hand picking. Now hand picking is only possible while the, you can say, components are little bigger. Okay, and winnowing, if there is no air, we can't perform the winnowing act. Okay, or winnowing method. So in that case, just think and tell why we wash rice or pulses before cooking. These things you might have seen that we have to, or we just regularly do. We regularly wash the rice or pulses before cooking. Now when we add water to these, the impulses like dust and soil particles get dissolved in the water, and then we tilt the vessel to pour out the dirty water. Okay, so when we just, you can say, wash the pulses, what will happen? The impurities will mix with the water, and we just tilt the vessel so that the dirty water will get out from the vessel. Okay, at this time we use the principle of different, you can say, densities of the two components of the mixture. Those which are insoluble in water and are heavier than other components of the mixture can be separated by sedimentation followed by decantation. Okay, so there are 2 or 3, you can say, what we can say, that 2 or 3 things are there that we have to know before we can use this sedimentation and decantation. So this process is only used when there is a components of two mixture, when their densities are different. Okay, and they are insoluble in water. Okay, and they are heavier than the other components of the mixture. When two particles are there, one is heavier than water and one is lighter than water. One is insoluble in water, one is soluble in water. In that case, students, we can easily use this method called sedimentation. Okay. Okay. So I hope up to this it is clear. So let us discuss the next part of this process. Now when the heavier insoluble component in a mixture settle down after water is added to it, the process is called sedimentation. Okay. So when the heavier insoluble component of a mixture settle down after water is added, so this process is called sedimentation. Now what is called decantation? The process of transferring the clear liquid without disturbing the sedimentation, it's called decantation. Okay. So two things are there and both the things are very important. So what are the things? Let me repeat once more. What do you mean by sedimentation? Sedimentation is when the heavier insoluble component in a mixture settle down after water is added to it. This process is called sedimentation. Okay, clear? Decantation is what? The process of transferring the clear liquid without disturbing the sediment is called decantation. Okay, so two processes are there. And one more activity is there, that mix some soil into water in a glass. Okay, so you can take some soil and just mix it. Now allow this muddy water to stand for half an hour. Then what will happen? The sand in the muddy water being heavier, it settles at the bottom of the glass. This process is called sedimentation. Now slightly tilt the glass without disturbing the water and let the water from the top flow into another glass. This process is called decantation. Okay. So when the muddy water is there in the glass, this process, all the muddy water, when it settle down at the bottom of the glass, we can call it as sedimentation. And what do you mean by decantation? When we pour the fresh water in another glass, we call it this process as decantation. So students, this is all about sedimentation and decantation. Okay. I hope you can correlate these things. Okay, next one is this filtration, very easy one. Okay, what is filtration? Filtration means nothing but to filter. Okay, recall the preparation of tea. What will happen after preparing tea? What do you do to remove the tea leaves? Let us divide the mixture into two parts. Allow one part to stand and decant of the clear tea. Now you will notice that clear tea still has few tea leaves in it. Okay. So see this picture, this is called filtration. You can say this type of filter we also have in our houses, everybody have this type of filters. Okay, so by using these filters we can easily separate the tea leaves and our tea. Okay, now strain the other part of the mixture with a strainer. Okay, so this is nothing but the strainer. Now did all the tea leaves remains in the strainer? So this process is known as filtration. Filtration means just to filter. Okay, so we have this strainer, all our houses. Now filtration is the process in which we remove suspended particles in liquid or gas through a medium. So this medium is also known as filter. Okay, so by using this medium we can easily separate the particles. Okay, now for filtering tea we use strainer. Okay, so you can see this is nothing but the strainer. Whereas water can be filtered using, you can say, muslin cloth or filter. Okay, so there is a very, you can say, fluffy cloth is there, we call it as muslin cloth or filter paper. Okay, filter paper is definitely there in our chemistry lab. Okay, so we can show you this technique also. To filter substances in large quantities, other, you can say, porous substances like cotton, glass, wool, you can say charcoal, and layer of sand can be used as filters. Okay, so these things also it can be used as a filter. So the substances like let me tell you that cotton, glass, wood, okay, charcoal and layer of sand, this can also be used as a filter. Now fruit and vegetable juices are usually filtered before drinking to separate the seeds and solid part of the pulp. Okay, so this is very easy process, filtration. All of you have an idea. Now the substance that remains in the filter is called residue. Now very important, the substance which is remains in the filter is called residue, and the substance that flows through the filter is called the filtrate. Okay. So two more terminologies are there, one is filter and next one is filtrate. Okay. So what do you mean by filter? Sorry, filtrate. Filtrate means the substance that flows through the paper, just like your tea. Okay. And which remains in the filter, such as tea leaves. So tea leaves is called as residue. Okay. So these are also two more terminologies in this portion. Okay. Now next one process is there which we call as evaporation. What is evaporation? Very easy. Okay. Evaporation means there are many solids like salt and sugar that dissolves completely in water. Definitely. Okay. Salt and sugar, if you just pour one teaspoon of salt in water, it can easily dissolve in the water. Now can we separate this dissolved salt from water by any of these methods of separation discussed earlier? Now students, just think once that if I give you a mixture of salt water, then can you be able to separate the salt water? The process that we have discussed till now? The answer is no. Okay, there is not any process till now we have discussed so that we can separate this type of things. So what we can do to separate these things or separate these components? So the answer is there is a process called evaporation. By using this evaporation process, we can easily separate the salt water. Okay, we can easily separate the salt and water from a mixture of salt water. So for this we have to discuss this activity 9.5. What this activity tells? That take a beaker containing some water, add 2 spoons of salt in it, stir the solution properly so that the salt will get mixed in the water. Now heat the beaker continuously. Okay, heat the beaker containing the salt water and let the water boil away. Now what is left in the beaker? So if you heat the water continuously, what will happen? The water will get converted into vapor and all the vapor will goes upside. Okay. So basically this process of conversion of a liquid into its vapor form is called evaporation. Okay. So evaporation is nothing but to change the water to its vapor. Okay. So this process is called evaporation. Okay. Now students, one more thing is there in this process, that this process of evaporation takes place continuously. Okay. Whenever water is present, you will found the evaporation process. Now have you ever wondered that where does our table salt come from? The salt that we are using, okay, where does this salt come from? Have you ever wondered? Have you ever imagined? So it is obtained from the sea. Now all of you have known, students, that sea water contains a large amount of common salt. We can't eat the sea water, isn't it? Sea water can you eat or can you drink the sea water? It is not possible because plenty amount of salt particles are there. We can't eat, we can't drink the sea water. Okay. Now, so some amount of common salt and other salts are dissolved in it. Now near the seashore, sea water is collected from the swallow pits and allowed to evaporate in sunshine. Now in few days what will happen? The whole water evaporates, leaving behind the impure salt. Okay. Now common salt is then obtained from this mixture of the salts, further you can say processed. Okay. So this is the process to make the salt. You can see here the picture. This is the picture of, you can say, sea beach. So sea water contains lot amount of salt. Here salt is there. I am writing here that salt is there. And making of salt, you can see here, when we take some amount of you can say we take a beaker, we take the sea water in it, okay, and we just heat the beaker. When we heat the beaker, what will happen? All the water will evaporate and we get the salt. Okay. So this is the preparation of salt or making of salt. Okay. Very interesting, students. So what we have read till now, we have read two very important processes in today's lecture: decantation, sedimentation, filtration, and this process. Okay. Now this part, the use of more than one method of separation, this part we will discuss in our next video lecture. So students, that's all for that video lecture. What we have to do, you have to read the chapter properly, read your text properly and try to correlate with your surroundings. So students, that's all. Thank you.